All right, so the relative learning task, which I found out is basically predicated later on in the modules, found out later, basically predicated on performance indicators, would suggest that if we're working on the inside pass, that of course if we're dealing with 8-year-olds, you got to focus on the simplicity of it. Okay, so your performance indicators are going to be very low; they're not going to be high at all. So your relative learning tasks are based on the stationary objectives. So if the pass goes in from the perimeter to the post, that pass will be a stationary pass. I don't need this guy, 8 years old, really doing too much movement. He needs to understand that just the simplicity of the fundamentals of it. How can I get this pass from here to here? All right. One of the main things in doing this that I discussed in my PowerPoint presentation is that there has to be a hand given here, a target. So it needs to be a target to where this kid at 8 years old knows where to throw the ball. Okay. Again, stationary understandings of that will help in the relative learning task. For a kid who might be 14 years old, now we're more focused on understanding movement, and not so much a lot of movement, but just how to move based on the ball coming into the actual post area. So to get an inside pass from this area to the inside, this guy may be coming here from the top of the key, post player, but a guard will be coming dribbling down to a spot while he's moving to that area. So we have to make sure the ball meets the player upon getting to that spot. Again, still showing a hand, showing where they want the ball, where they want to present it, once that post player reaches that area. Okay? So the guard gets here, and now he has to present himself in a way that he can effectively get that ball into the post. So that's the task at hand. Okay? And again, the intangibles would be learning how to effectively allow the ball to meet the player as the player is arriving. Now, if the player gets here and wants to establish position first, meaning he may get to a spot and turn and carve out space, and then bring his hand and give a target. Okay. Of course, in the third one, we're looking at more advanced versions of a relative learning task, to where the players now may have intangible adversities, such as defenders on them while they're trying to receive the ball. Okay? So now this guy may be a 3/4 front, or he may be a front the inside, okay, or it might be a full front. All right? You have a defender on you. So now it's not just about getting the ball from point A to point B. Now that inside pass has other intangibles. So if we still have your post player, say right at the top of the key, or he might be on the opposite elbow, somebody comes and sets a screen for him, he has to come down and get to that spot. Man meets him there on defense, or if he's here at top of the key, the defender's here defending him, so as he comes, his defender goes with him. Guard has to get the ball effectively past his defender, past this defender, and get it to his own post player for an inside pass. So there's more tangible things that go on as far as understanding how that's actually going to happen. Once this ball, upon movement, and the defender movement, his hands are going to be out. They're going to be trying to get deflections. Same thing here. Hands are going to be out. This player has to be able to effectively get to a spot in the post or at the elbow to receive a pass effectively on the offensive side without getting deflected or stolen. So as we go through the different modes or modules, of how to get this done, it's imperative that the intangible things, the simplicity of how this done starts off with just a simple understanding of how to pass the ball to an inside pass, how to get it to your player effectively. Not overthrowing them, not getting it to where he can't reach the ball, not throwing it out of bounds and giving a bad pass here. These things all have to be understood. And now the graduation of this to this involves movement now. What happens when they move, okay? And then finally, what happens when they move and there's other people involved, okay? Because in the actual game type situations, by the time we get here, all of this has to be pretty much like a heartbeat. It has to already be kind of ingrained in your head on how to actually get that done to graduate to how you want to do it as an 18-year-old. So the progressions of those things have to be understood in order to see a progressive understanding of the inside pass in these examples. Okay.